There is only one desire, for you to reveal yourself within our minds. We ask you, O Lord, to make Atma Tvam Girijamati Sachara Prana Shariram Griham Pujate Vishayopabhoga Rachana Nidra Samadhi Sati. O Lord, this spirit that exists within us, we call the Atma, it is part of your divinity. It exists in our body, making it a place fit for worshipping you. It becomes a temple. O Lord, let all of our activities become a pradikshana, whereby we are constantly circumambulating you, because you are omnipotent and omnipresent. O Lord, even in our sleep, we contemplate and meditate upon you. Sanchara padayo pradakshana vidhi sotrani sarva giro yad yad karma karomi tadadakilam shambhu tavaradhanam shambhu tavaradhanam. O most compassionate Lord, we appeal to you for mercy and compassion and offer prayers for forgiveness. Om Karacharan Kritam Va Kayajam Karmajam Va Sravanenam Janva Manasam Va Paradam Vitam Avitam Sarvame Taksham Swam Jai Jai Karunade Shri Mahadeva Shambho Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya. Umapati Mahadeva ki jai. Dhani sa Dhani Sagama Dhani Sagama Gama Gasa Gama Gasa Hari Om Hari Om Hari Brahma Murari Chitalingam Niramal Bhashita Shogitalingam Janamata Dukkha Vinashakalingam Tan Pranamami Sada Shivalingam Brahma Murari Surajidalingam Niramal Bhashita Shogitalingam Deva Muni Pravararchitalingam Kamadaham Karunakaralingam Ravanagarapavinashanalingam Ratranamami Sada Shivalingam Brahma Murari Surajidalingam Niramal चन्दनलेपितलिङ्गम्
पङ्कजहार सुशोभितलिङ्गम्
सञ्चितपापविनाशनलिङ्गम्
प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्
ब्रह्ममुरारि
सुराजितलिङ्गम् निर्मलकाञ्चितशोभितलिङ्गम्
देवगणार्चितसेवितलिङ्गम्
भाविर्भक्तिभिरेवचलिङ्गम्
दिनकरकोटिप्रभाकरलिङ्गम्
प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्
ब्रह्ममुरारि
सुराजितलिङ्गम् निर्मलवाञ्छितशोभितलिङ्गम्
अष्टदलोपरिवेशितलिङ्गम्
सर्वसमोद्भवकारणलिङ्गम्
अष्टदरिद्रविनाशकलिङ्गम्
प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्
ब्रह्ममुरारि
सुराजितलिङ्गम् निर्मलवाञ्छितशोभितलिङ्गम्
गुरुवरपूजितलिङ्गम्
सुरवनपुष्पसदाचितलिङ्गम्
परात्परं परमात्मकलिङ्गम्
प्रणमामि सदा शिवलिङ्गम्
ब्रह्ममुरारि
सुराजितलिङ्गम् निर्मलवाञ्छितशोभितलिङ्गम्
निर्मलवाञ्छितशोभितलिङ्गम् प्रेम गुरुमापदी महादेव की जय. We invite everyone to focus our minds upon the divine Lord incarnate, Bhagavan Krishna. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभयश्च कृपा सिन्धु एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते. हरिर्नाम 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 केवलम् कलो नास्त्यैव 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 गतिरन्यथा. Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Govindaya
Namo
Namah.
Prem so Sri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Our message today continues on what we were discussing over the last few weeks, which we call the traits of the divine. And today we continue to discuss the traits of those who are not divine. Now we tend to have this word divine and demonic. And then when we mention the word demon, to many people when we say demon, we think of vampires. And those type of things. The demonic quality, that is the adharmic qualities, and dharmic following the pathway, adharmic not following the pathway. So those who are not following the pathway of God, these are their tendencies and the qualities. We discussed those who follow the pathway for the last 2 weeks. So today we will talk about, if you're not following the pathway of God, you will have these tendencies. Now someone said, Panditji, I'm coming to Mandir. I'm reading the scriptures. Are you telling me I'm not following the pathway of God? I will show you millions of people who read all the books, who goes to all the lectures and are not following the instructions. Not because you know it means you're following it. Not because you sit and listen to it means you're following it. You have to live it to know you're following it. Acha? So I have a tabla student, and every week he comes to class, and then he goes home and he sits in front of his tabla and he looks at the notes that the professor, his teacher has given him, but he doesn't play. He just looks at the notes and he sits in front of the tabla. And he comes every week and said, did you review what I gave you? Yes, I did. No improvement. What's missing? You're supposed to put it into practice. If you don't put it into practice, then it is not natural. But once you put it into practice, it becomes natural. So the qualities I'm about to talk is the qualities that these people who do not follow the pathway naturally have. And what are these qualities? Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya Namo Namah. Bhagavan Krishna speaks to the world. He explains to us, Dhambo Darpo Vimanascha Krodha Parushaye Mevacha Ajnanam Chavijatasya Partha Samparama Surima. Sri Krishnaya Vasudevaya Govindaya It's off scale totally. Please don't play it. Bhagavan Krishna is explaining that arrogance, when we say that someone is arrogant, what do we mean? Anybody? Sanju always answers these questions to me. Why don't somebody else answer it for me one week? Let me ask one of the young people, what does arrogant mean to you? We have some young people here, right? That's anybody under 30. What? Passionate person? Arrogance, passionate? Anybody else? Angry? Who said angry? Who said angry? Angry? Okay.
Full of your own self.
Give the lady a big hand, please. You're full of your own self. Anger is anger. Passion is passion. Arrogance is something different. You're full of your own self. Oh, it's all about me. It's the preliminary or the foundations of ego. Arrogant. Oh, you such an arrogant person. We all say it. What do we mean by that? When we say it, we must know what we mean because we need to define ourselves. Are we being arrogant? Someone who's a know-it-all in a very imposing way. Now, there are people who know it all, but they're not imposing. When you go to a doctor, he knows it all, so you better listen to him. Right? But then there are those who know it all because they know it all, and they will impose what they know on you without wanting you wanting to know it all. Arrogance. And as Alukarji said, full of themselves, or full of ourselves. It's all about me and nothing else. Now, self-conceit. Self-conceit. When we say you're very conceited, what does that mean? You're full of it also. Self-conceit. You are, again, arrogance, self-conceit, synonymous. They're like meaning the same thing. Now, these are all character traits. These are character traits that you and I possess. Then, ignorance. Now, when you say someone is ignorant, what do we mean? I'm again addressing this to some of our under 40 people. What do we mean when we say someone is ignorant? Not knowing. Good? Right? So, would you blame someone for not knowing? Is that a bad thing because I don't know?
Don't want to understand.
Give the man a big hand, please. They refuse to understand. They refuse to accept. They were acting like an ignoramus, as we say. You're a real ignoramus, I've told you 100 times. What's the matter with you? They refuse to accept, refuse to understand. Here, Bhagavan Krishna is telling Arjuna that the people who are adharmic, or who are not following the prescribed pathway are prone to these things. By the way, every human being have a touch of these tendencies. But he says, to those who are not following the pathway, these tendencies are very dominant. And what are the tendencies? Arrogance, self-conceit, and of course, the most popular one, anger. All of us have anger. Oh boy, do we have anger. Last night, for those who might have been here, we were reading Ramcharitmanas Katha, and we were discussing the love of a father through the projection of Raja Dasrath. In the Katha, sage Vishwamitra comes to ask Raja Dasrath for his sons. But he doesn't tell him that's what he comes for. He arrives and Raja Dasrath treats him with all of the austerities of a holy man, gives him a seat, makes him comfortable, and declares, tell me, O great sage, whatever you may desire, I will fulfill it. When Raja Dasrath met the sage, he was very humble, he was very loving, he was very affectionate, he was very caring, he was very divine, Aji. But when the sage says, I'm here because I want your 2 sons, right away Raja Dasrath became a different person. Because his personal possessions, as he thinks, was being now touched. When we feel our personal possessions are being threatened, we get the gun out. We get our anger out, and then our arrogance comes in, and then we try to use anger, arrogance, and brute force rather than reasoning and wisdom. Reasoning and wisdom only comes in after somebody pats us on the shoulder and says, hold it a minute. That's not what you need to do. That's called the word of wisdom. And everyone needs to have somebody who's got the word of wisdom around them. Some of us feel we don't need anybody. That's the highest form of arrogance, the highest form of ignorance, and the highest form of ego. I don't need anybody. I can do it all by myself. And they try to prove to the world they'll become dominating, arrogant, and self-conceit, and all about I can do it by myself. So the I can do it by myself, the world is full of them. But the world tolerates them. Sometimes parents tolerate children who are like that. Sometimes spouse and spouse tolerate each other who's like that. Some employees and employees tolerate each other. But it is coming to that realization as the individual that these are not the right qualities to possess that makes the person move from adharmic to dharmic. That self-realization, not being told, but, oh my God, is that the way I am? Now, how many of us have ever done a course in communication, general communication? It happens in all schools. And anybody did that course? You did in high school, I think, somewhere. University 1, 2. Are you kidding me? The rest of the people didn't ever do this course in university or academy? In high school students, did you not do a course in communication? Oh, put your hands up. Did you not do one yet? I can know why. Yeah. Okay. Okay, right. Okay, it's not a course. Now there is, I think about, I can't remember now, maybe, how old am I? God is still. It's about 30 years ago. I attended the University of Toronto, a nice night program. I was working at the Royal Bank. And they had this banking program, and I always, in some course. And this was a communications course that I took. And then the course was being taught by a gentleman from India. And you have to understand this scenario. 30 years ago, brown-skinned people were very rare in this country. And we were called Pakis. Everybody was a Paki then. Okay? As long as you were brown, you're a Paki, right? So I signed up for this course, and I saw this name of the professor. The name didn't sound Indian at all, right? I walked to the classroom. As I am walking into the classroom, I was late, and I hear the professor talking. Oh, and his English was so pronounced, so pure English. I said, wow, this is good. Now, I walk into the classroom, and I see a tall, elegant-looking, brown-skinned Indian man. Totally different from the picture I had in my mind. Now anyway, that's a different story. So I sat down in the class, and I'm now caught up, I don't know. Anyway, so the class progressed, and after the second week of the class, he did something very unique. At that time, videos were not around. Videos, you had to get a movie camera, and they had these roll films, you know, these things. Right? So he says, I'm going to film every student here on a one-on-one basis. And don't ask me why. Everybody will go through a 5-minute session while you're here with everybody one at a time, and I'm filling you. And then, okay, so, and you can say whatever you want. Just I'll fill you for 5 minutes. So everybody did the filming, I did my piece, and well, then we said, tomorrow we'll be reviewing the filming. You'll be seeing yourself. Oh boy, what a revelation. Try it sometimes. The perception we have of ourselves, of how we look, how we think we look, and what we really look like are so far apart. But we have to do it with our own self-criticism. We have to look at it with a very, very objective eye. You know, when we stand in front of the mirror, we all like to tell ourselves we look good, you know that? Oh, the good-looking fellow, isn't he? We convince ourselves that we look good, but do we look good to the people outside? Do we sound good to the people outside? Do we act good to the people outside? That is the aspect that in communicating we need to project. We need to project truly what we feel. And many of us in anger project what we feel. In arrogance project what we feel. But in goodness, if we are pretensive, it also shows. And the filming does a great job of showing it. Well, I must tell you, I was blown away totally from what I saw and what I thought I was, you know, articulation, facial expression, the way you say a word, how you sound, all of that. So from time to time, don't have your spouse do this for you. It's a terrible thing. They are always critical. Yeah. Do it for yourself. Or if your spouse is very objective, it's fine. I must tell you, in my family, I have the best critics. I get the best criticism from my family. They always tell me the truth. And that's the best criticism you get. The problem is, can I handle the truth? Okay? The problem is, can we handle the truth? If we cannot handle the truth about criticism about ourselves, then we are very, very arrogant. If we cannot handle the truth about criticisms about ourselves, then we are very, very arrogant. Now, let me ask this question. When was the last time you got criticized and you thanked the person for it? Don't put your hands up now, please. Very few of us can take criticism very nicely. Oh, praise, oh, we're good at that. But criticism, hey, hold it a minute. You know who you're talking to? Criticism, sir. When we can learn to take criticism in the same light as a praise, then we have diminished our arrogance. So we've talked about the quality of arrogance, we've talked about how we can identify it, and we've talked about how we can reduce it. Simple process. You have it, here's what it looks like, here's what you can do to fix it. Now, who's going to try this when you go home? Not right away, of course. But sit down sometime and get that. Today we can do it with anything. We got a cell phone, can do it. Just put the cell phone in front of you and chat away, or let it record you in your normal, casual self. And you'll be amazed, especially when we're having a phone conversation. You know, you can actually see this on the road when you're driving now. Some guy's driving in his car and he's having a great conversation. And of course he's hands-free and he's driving. And of course he's oblivious that the world is observing him, right? And he or she, if they're angry, you can see the anger right away. You can figure out if they're being nice or if they're being mad. It all shows in that, and they're driving the car. It's amazing the multitasking personalities that we have, or the multi-capability personalities. We're driving, trying to be calm, but yelling at somebody on the phone at the same time. Right? The human mind is such a complex and such a sophisticated element that we need to stop and try to appreciate it. So Sant Goswami Tulsidas in the Ramcharitmanas told us that Raja Dashrath moved from one state to another when his possessions were threatened. You and I will become arrogant, dominant, angry, aggressive when we feel our personal possessions are threatened. It's normal. But that's when we have to have the voice of wisdom touch us on the shoulder and says, hold on a minute, that's not going to solve the problem. We very rarely have that voice of wisdom. Because at that time, we have a little guy on their shoulder here, a red fellow. He has a pitchfork and he says, go get them, kill them, fight them, beat them up. But on this other side of his shoulder, there's supposed to be a little white dove fluttering, saying, don't do that. You're going to get hurt. But we don't hear that voice. You're saying, shut up, shut up. We don't want to hear that. There's always that voice of conscience. It's there. The voice of conscience is always whispering sweet words. Don't do that, you know. That's not the right thing to do. We're saying, shut up. Shut up. Now, anybody ever experienced that voice of conscience? You know, there's two things. Think of them as well. One little fellow over here is white fellow, very nice, pretty, like a dove bird fluttering nicely. And over here, like a little red bull with a pitchfork. We all have them on our shoulders. Who are we listening to? Right now, they're there. Which one are you listening to? Come. Right now, they're there. Some of you are saying, I hope this Pandit will shut up soon. Right? And then someone is saying, oh, that makes sense, you know. Right? They're there all the time. Prem Sachi Krishna Chandra Bhagavan Ki Jai. Criticism. To accept criticism. Everybody can give criticism, by the way. It's easy to do. How good are we at receiving criticism? The test for everyone that you take home today is you must test yourself in how well you accept criticism. Note what I say, accept, not face. Don't face it like you're taking a bullet. Accept it like you're getting a gift. Because every bit of criticism is a gift. Even if it was meant in a negative way, see it as a gift. If we can develop this quality, wow, our lives will be transformed so quickly. Those who know us will say, what happened to you? My God, you've changed. You've changed. I want you to know this, that when I was, my wife is not here, right? Good, okay. When I was about 13, 14, and I was going to school, in my group, whenever there's a conflict, I was always pushed to the front. Go take care of him, Sharma, you can beat him up. They will put the red brick in my hand and says, fire, fire, burn your hand, blah, blah, whatever. Anybody knows that thing? And knock it out and who'll throw the first punch? That was me. Now, I black blued quite a few eyes in my time. I got such a whipping on my behind, the marks are still there. Right? Because whenever I did that, the message would go home to my father and he'll take care of me. So I got my quota. But my point is that in a certain stage of our lives, we are very, very arrogant. Our innate id tendency seems to project itself. But somewhere along the line, the word of wisdom comes along and start telling us. Until someone who loves you and cares for you tell you the truth someday, you're lost. And one day a man who loved me and cared for me, with my boss, told me that you are a smart ass. Yeah, he told me that. I said, who are you talking to? I said, you. He said, you're smart, but you're an ass. Oh my God. I wanted to kill him. I nearly killed him. I wanted to pay somebody to shoot him. A whole week I was planning how to murder him. I went back to the office and said, I'll quit. He said, you're a smart ass. Quit. I didn't quit. I became smart and stopped being an ass. Is that real enough for you? It sounds jovial, but it's reality. Many of us are very smart, but we are asinine about our smartness. We need to be smart without the ass part. Now I noticed all of the young people smiled when I said that. And the mature individuals had a stern look on their faces. I wonder why. And the young people didn't smile because they thought it was funny. They smiled because they said, oh my God, you mean I'm like that? In the reality of our lives, this arrogance factor is a major factor that keeps us in the demonic pathway. We need to drift away from it. Prem Sochi Krishna Chanda Bhagavan ki. Our katha today is very brief. Not to be, it took us 25 minutes to deliver this message this morning. And we will try to maintain this time. But as promised, in July and August, starting September, we shall commence the teaching of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita every Sunday. How do I get to that slide? Where's Jaideep? There it is. I have to do this and then up and then F5, I think, right? Is that what he says? Oops, wrong one. What do I do? Click on it. Click on this. Then F5. Yeah. Okay, that's the way to do it, right? Now we will learn for the first time. How many of you know chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita? Put your hands up. If you do, please be honest. Put your hands up. Some of you. High up here so I can see you. So 5, 6, 7 people. Good. Thank you. 8. Now, the method we use to teach this is the method of ancient times, when people learned without looking at books. When there was no blackboard and no chalk, you listen and you repeat it. So, we'll try the same method and see how well it works. Now remember, since 90% of you have never done this before, it's all new to you. So I want you to listen to me carefully and sit upright, please. You need to sit upright and you need to help me. Everybody kind of angle yourself this way. Turn to me and repeat what I say. You must listen carefully. So right now, I must be the most ugly person in the world, but think I'm a nice looking person. So look at me, straight in my eyes. Watch my lips move as I talk, and then hear what I'm saying, and then you will get a chance to repeat. Evam Satatayuktaye.
एवं सततयुक्ताये
Evam Satatayuktaye.
एवं सततयुक्ताये
Now say that yourself 3 times.
एवं सततयुक्ताये
Louder.
एवं सततयुक्ताये एवं सततयुक्ताये
Very good. Bhaktastvam paryupasate.
भक्तास्त्वां परिपास्यते
Bhaktastvam paryupasate.
भक्तास्त्वां परिपास्यते
Those of you who know it, don't say it. Just let the others, okay? Bhaktastvam paryupasate. That's what I thought. Over here we're losing you. I'm not can't hear anything you're saying. Bhaktastvam.
Bhaktastvām,
Bhaktastvam. Bolo.
Bhaktastvām,
Paryupasate.
Parayupasate,
Bhaktastvam paryupasate.
Bhaktastvām, Parayupasate,
3 times. Loud.
Bhaktastvām, Parayupasate,
Loud.
Bhaktastvām, Parayupasate,
Loud.
Bhaktastvām, Parayupasate.
Now listen to me carefully. Evam satatayuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate. Go.
Evam satatayuktaye, Bhaktastvām, Parayupasate.
Again. Evam satatayuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate. 3 more times. Evam satatayuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate. Evam satatayuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate. One more time. Evam
Satatayuktaye, Bhaktastvām, Parayupasate.
Very good. You haven't seen any words yet. Now close your eyes. Everybody. Close your eyes. Listen to me. Evam satatayuktaye bhaktastvam paryupasate. Keep your eyes closed. Now say it.
Evam satatayuktaye, Bhaktastvām, Parayupasate.
2 more times. Loudly.
Evam satatayuktaye, Bhaktastvām, Parayupasate.
Make an effort. Loudly.
Evam satatayuktaye, Bhaktastvām, Parayupasate.
Very good. Open your eyes now. Now listen to me. Ye chap yaksaram avyaktam. Ye chap yaksharam avyaktam. Ye chap yaksharam avyaktam. Ye cha. Okay, now we have to flow it. Ye chap yaksharam avyaktam. Ye chak yaksharam avyaktam. Ye chap yaksharam avyaktam. Don't be afraid. Say it loud. Ye chap yaksharam avyaktam. Again. Ye chap yaksharam avyaktam. Ye chap yaksharam avyaktam. Try it. Now listen to the rest. Tesham ke yoga vitamaha. Suno. Listen. Tesham ke yoga vitamaha. Tesham ke yoga vitamaha. Tesham ke yoga vitamaha. Now close your eyes and listen to me. Evam satatayuktaye bhakta. Suno. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastvamparyupasate. Say it.
evam satatayuktaye bhakta swam paryupasate.
Some of you are just too shy. Don't be shy if you're not sure. Say it. Even if you say it wrong, then we will know how to correct you. Ye chap yaksaram avyaktam tesham ke yoga vitama. Bolo. Ye chap yaksaram avyaktam tesham ke yoga vitama. Now, I want you to look. Can you see this clearly? Everybody? Can you see it clearly? Okay, now, the top line says, Arjunu Vacha. Bolo, everybody.
Arjuna Vacha
Now, everyone read. Go.
Evam Satatayuktaye Bhakta Swam Paripasate Ye Chapaksharam Vyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vitamaha.
Not bad, huh? Not bad for people who can't read Sanskrit. Now, I want you to sit upright and read it loud. Start off. Arjunu Vacha. Bolo.
Arjuna Vacha
Go. Evam.
Satatayuktaye bhakta swam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam vyaktam tesham ke yoga vitamaha.
3 times. Now it's loud. 1, 2, 3, go. Arjuna Vacha. Go. Only 1 time you say that. Don't say it again. Now read the shloka 3 times. Evam.
Satatayuktaye bhakta swam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam vyaktam tesham ke yoga vitamaha.
Again. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktasvam paryupasate ye chap aksharam vyaktam tesham ke yoga vitama. Evam satata yuktaye bhaktasvam paryupasate ye chap yaksharam vyaktam tesham ke yoga vitama. How many of you can read the Sanskrit at the bottom? Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Now, those of you who can read the Sanskrit, read it for me, please. Bolo.
Satatayuktaye bhakta swam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam vyaktam tesham ke yoga vitamaha.
Very good. Now, those who are reading English, read. Now, 1, 2, 3.
Satatayuktaye bhakta swam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam vyaktam tesham ke yoga vitamaha.
Those who are reading in Sanskrit, those who are reading English, sound exactly the same. Congratulations to everybody. You have just embarked on the most meaningful venture in your life. You have started to chant the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and at the same time, you will be learning Sanskrit while you do this. So, every Sunday, now who's not going to come back on Sunday next week because of this? And you're going to go, I'm not going back to Mandir anymore, they're teaching Bhagavad Gita. If you do that, God bless you. You stay home, okay? But if you really want to change your life and add a new dimension to it, then come and 1 shloka every week. So if you have the opportunity at home and you can get this and read it, fine. By next week, I'll make sure you get a copy, 1 page, and then eventually you'll get your own book. Okay? So, now many of you might have books at home, but you've never opened the pages before. But this is chapter 12, verse 1. Thank you very much. Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki. Now I have to exit out. What do I do again? There we go.
F5.
Move to the one here, click on it, and then F5. I'll get this right, don't worry. I'm a techie person. There we go. The announcements for today. Preeti Bhoj is sponsored by Jane, Chandra and Sunita. Give them a big hand, please. And Ganesh Visarjan is next week.